Little Kalpana was born on 1st July 1961. She was born to the Chawla family and she stayed with 16 members living under one roof. It was with great difficulty that the Chawla family was able to make a house in a town called Karnal. Kalpana's father once bought a second-hand scooter for himself. Kalpana was so excited about this. It was that time one of the few in town. Kalpana said, "Papa, I also want to have a ride." She sat on the front seat and she went and she felt that she was flying high up in the sky. That was the fun she had with her father. One day the tire of the scooter got punctured. And Kalpana's father went around looking for replacement, but nowhere in Karnal it was easy to get a replacement. Is when the shopkeeper said, who was his own brother, he said that, "Why don't you go to Delhi? You may find it there." So he reached his Delhi when the shopkeeper at Delhi said that you may have to deposit money in advance and come back after 3 weeks. It was at this time that Kalpana's father thought of manufacturing tires, because this was the first tire company which was going to open in India. It was a difficult task, but this is what Kalpana's father was. Every time when there was a problem, he would take it up as a challenge. Kalpana asked her father that, "Papa, is it not difficult to start something new now?" So Kalpana's father looked at Kalpana and said, "Every problem has a solution. So whenever you have a dream, you have the power to make it true." Kalpana. This just stuck on to Kalpana and she continued singing this song in her mind. You have the power to make your dreams come true. Kalpana. When Kalpana was in 10th standard, her school announced a science project. Kalpana was very excited about it, to make Mars, to make the space shuttle, to make the spaceship and space, and this was perhaps the first link to space science those days. It was done so well that her teachers told, "That is indeed a fine job, Kalpana." This was the first time when Kalpana announced that she wants to study aerospace engineering. During the summer times, Kalpana and her sisters slept on the terrace and they would look at the stars. "Look, that is Saptarishi Mandal. Oh, Great Bear. And there is Dhruvatara." And her sister would say, "It's the same as the pole star, isn't it?" Yes, they grew up looking at the stars, taking interest in spaceships, and Kalpana was very sure that she was going to travel to Chandigarh for studying engineering. When she announced to her father, she first thought the family will not support. To her surprise, her family supported. She joined Punjab College of Engineering at Chandigarh, and her mom travelled with Kalpana to Chandigarh. She also stayed with her in the hostel. And this is how Kalpana continued studying there. And sometimes she would come back to her hometown, eat mama's homemade food, talk to her friends and go back to her college. When it was time for post-graduation, Kalpana had already applied at different universities and she got through Texas. Once again, Kalpana thought her family may not support her, but to her surprise, her father supported her. And she was all set to go to the Texas University. And during that time, and after her post-graduation, she studied hard and she became the vice president and a research scientist. One of the days while she was reading the newspaper, she found out that there was a selection process for astronauts. She decided to apply and she couldn't get through. She decided to do it the second time. During the second attempt, she gave a written exam and she passed through. She was so overjoyed. This was in 1994. She shouted and she screamed, "I'm in!" And Kalpana was announced to be the mission specialist. A mission specialist is the one who does the coordination of the buttons and programs inside the space shuttle. Living in the space shuttle and going through the training program was really a tedious task. She was on her toes all the time. So many controls, so many buttons, so many systems. And for 14 months, Kalpana and her fellow teammates learnt about living in a gravity-less environment, performing everyday chores like eating, sleeping, and even talking. Her first flight up to the space was the most beautiful one. When she returned, she went to different schools and colleges to talk about it. She told everyone it was like Alice in Wonderland. It was like a dream story, watching the sunrise and sunset, like living in a storyland. And now she was all set for her second trip, which was in January 2005. When the space shuttle was getting launched, there was a crack in the tile, but everyone ignored it, and the space shuttle went shoo, shoo, whoosh, up, and it traveled and stayed there for 15 days. During this time, Kalpana enjoyed the experience of floating. What happened when this flight came is what you need to read on the Getlitt app. And I'm your storyteller Geetanjali Kaul. Here is the book Kalpana Chawla by Amar Chitra Katha. And let's go through the book and the stories. Get into this app and enjoy reading. Thank you.